Shalom. We are continuing in the 25 principles of child rearing from a Jewish perspective. Principle number 1 we spoke about was the husband-wife relationship. Now we're going to speak about the home. The home is an entity. The home is something which we said the primary forces that dictate and determine how this home is the parents. This home has to be a constant, continual haven of peace. It has to be a kind of a refuge, because children, as much as the home is important, but children have to venture out of the home. They go to school, they go to play, although the home is their base, but they are constantly venturing out, and as they grow older, so they are spending more and more time away from home. And venturing out into the world is sometimes a difficult experience. They don't always necessarily meet up with the kind of friendship, with the kind of cheerfulness that they find at home, with the kind of love they find at home. They may even find the playground sometimes a hostile environment. They may find that sometimes playing a game of sport or soccer or whatever it is ends up with a lot of verbal abuse if someone doesn't perform adequately, if someone misses the goal. So the playground can sometimes be a very difficult and aggressive and cruel place sometimes. The classroom can sometimes be a very difficult environment. Teachers, faced with a whole class of children, very often find themselves that in order to maintain discipline, they need to be very tough. They need to be very aggressive, sometimes very sharp. They can't show, when you've got a class full of 20, 30 children, it's hard to show love and kindness and understanding and patience with every child. Sometimes there are teachers who are not so discerning, and these teachers will ridicule a child in public, will deride a child in public, will dress him down in public, which in itself is a very severe halachic issue. The concept of hamal b'pnei chavero b'rabim, someone who insults someone, it's as though it's tantamount to taking his life. As the blood drains from his face. That's what the Chazal say, malbin, from the word lavan. When a person is insulted publicly, his blood drains from his face. It's tantamount to killing him. And sometimes parents or teachers, very often teachers, think that, well, in the context of class and discipline, I've just got to do this, and this is what has to be done. And it's sometimes done in the moment of pressures and tensions, and sometimes a snide remark can bring about a situation of everybody giggling and laughing at a child's wrong answer or foolish answer, or a child slips or something happens, and they are exposed. This is a form of violence, when a person is publicly ridiculed and a person is publicly made fun of. Now there is also the very painful issue of bullying. Bullying, unfortunately, is a phenomenon that is dominant and prevails in many societies, where a small group of kids, it can be in nursery school already, where a few kids can gang up on another little child, and that ganging up and isolating a child is in a form of bullying. It can be extremely painful and extremely damaging to the child. So the child goes out and faces tough times. The child goes out to the school bus, and if the bus driver is not the most discerning fella and is sharp and shouting and abusive, so the child can be exposed to high levels of tension, high levels of aggression, and we can't control that. We can try at certain times, we can try and have an effect, but in the main, these are things out of our control. So the most important thing is the child knows, oh, I've got a nice, calm, peace home to go back to at the end of the day. He looks forward to coming back and crawling back into this home, and it's loving and it's sweet and it's full of understanding and joy and closeness. And this sometimes enables him to maybe even lick his wounds if he's taken a battering, sometimes even a physical battering on the playground, at school, from a teacher, whatever it might be. So it's imperative that this home is kept a smiling and inviting and homely place. So therefore parents can sometimes, we can forego sometimes principles of cleanliness and rank out a child every time something is not in place. So a little discarded apple core that wasn't, or some displaced toys, will cause an angry retort from a parent. That's unnecessary. We really have to understand that our main role in the home is making this home peaceful and loving and caring and friendly, that the child wants to be there. Now obviously parents are also educators, and parents also sometimes have to they have to discipline a child, but that can't be the prevailing atmosphere. The atmosphere has to be an atmosphere of homeliness, of tranquility, and this is a very important fact, that the child knows he has this confidence that, true, I may be having a rough time with a teacher or a friend, or I may be having some social interaction which is difficult, but I know always I've got home to go back to. There it's peaceful, there they understand me, there they are sensitive to me, and I can kind of let myself just relax in this environment. So let's keep the home a haven of peace.